Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, and I'm taking care of business. Joining me today is Ben Myers, who is president of Bullpen Research and Consulting. Thanks for joining us today, Ben.
Thanks for having me again, Mario.
Well, let's talk about a report that just came out recently by rentals.ca on the rental market across Canada. I'm curious about some of the Calgary numbers. Calgary, 25th out of 35 cities in the country when it comes to average monthly rents in December. $1,233 for a one bedroom, $1,551 for a two bedroom. Why is Calgary so traditionally been, I guess, such an affordable place to rent compared to some of the other markets in the country?
Yeah, and I think we've discussed it in the past. You are building a decent amount of supply in the marketplace, despite the strong demand that you've had in the past in terms of immigration. The city has been able to expand out, and in comparison to a place like Vancouver, where there's mountains and there's oceans, and in Toronto we have a green belt, and plus we have Lake Ontario to the south. So there is geographic reasons that are stopping that sprawl or preventing the supply to being built and to accommodate the growth that's happening. And from anyone I've talked to, they've also said that much better land use and planning in Calgary that makes it a little bit easier for developers to build. So those are all positive reasons, and we'll see if more people move out to your area from Ontario as things get more and more unaffordable here in Ontario and also in British Columbia.
Yeah, and as we look at those prices and the year-over-year change, can you talk a little bit about how Calgary's prices have gone up compared to what nationally prices have gone up in the past year?
Yeah, so year over year on a national basis, and again, this is based off the rentals.ca and Bullpen Consulting National Rent Report. Rents were up 3.8% nationally. If we look at Calgary, in December of 2020, it was $1,280, $1,380 per month. And again, this is all property types: singles, semis, rental apartments, basement apartments, and that went up about 2% to $1,411. So Calgary is appreciating at about half the national rate. So interesting results, but Calgary had been flat for many years. So this is one of the first years that it saw some substantial growth. Not substantial, but growth above zero.
Yeah. And when we look at the raw numbers, when it comes to average monthly rents, we're looking at Toronto and Vancouver, right, that are sitting above $2,000 a month, correct?
Yeah, Toronto and Vancouver are always up there. Interesting enough, some of the suburban markets in Toronto are in the Greater Toronto area are now higher than the city of Toronto. Oakville and I think it was Vaughan was ahead of Toronto. So again, changing unit sizes. Toronto, Vancouver, very unaffordable. They're shrinking their unit sizes. So the end rent ends up being a little bit cheaper in Toronto. So interesting stuff. So, and actually interesting on the condo side, I looked at the condo numbers in Calgary, and the average rent in Q4 of 2019 for a condo apartment in Calgary was $1,722. But in the fourth quarter of 2020, it was $1,552. So a pretty significant drop. And again, some of that is compositional in nature, but up about 3% in Q4 of 2021 to 1,596. So condos appreciated a little bit faster than the overall market.
Tell me a little bit about the factors that are contributing, I guess, now across the country for rental demand.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're still seeing a preference towards larger units nationally, just because a lot of people are still working from home, so they want that separate space to be able to work. And obviously during the pandemic, a lot of people were educating from home, so they were needing that space to set up their kids. But interesting enough, in the Calgary market, I looked at the bedroom type breakdown. One bedrooms are up 2.6%. Two bedrooms up 3.9% year over year, but studios were up 9%. So kind of interesting to see that studios were becoming popular in Calgary. So that's an interesting trend. But obviously immigration's way up. We're setting records now for immigration nationally. And the people tend to go to the major cities, Vancouver, Toronto, Calgary, Montreal. So we're going to see significant growth in population, which obviously drives rental demand as immigrants tend to rent when they first come here for the first 3 years that they're here. And employment is back, right? Everything other than the service industry that seems to be disrupted by these constant lockdowns. But the employment numbers are very good. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with interest rates moving forward, and if that drives more people into the rental market if it becomes more expensive to own.
Okay, super. One last thing, Ben, there's been a lot of talk about Bank of Canada and interest rates rising this year. Looks more than likely that they will. How will that impact the rental market when it's becoming more expensive to own a home in Canada? Will that be good news in some ways for the rental market?
Yeah, it's always interesting. When interest rates go up, it tends to decrease, purchases and put more pressure on the rental market. And also the other interesting things, we've had a lot of investors buying, certainly in the Greater Toronto area because of the price growth, and in Vancouver as well. And so that they end up buying and putting those units on the rental market. So if the investors go out of the market, there's going to be less of that supply on the market as well. So I do expect, potentially, 2 increases this year, 50 basis points, but still probably not enough to make a huge impact on the rental market. But certainly it's something we are kind of building into our forecast that we think is going to happen this year.
All right, super. Thanks, Ben, for joining us today.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, super. That's Ben Myers, who is president of Bullpen Research and Consulting. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, and this has been Taking Care of Business. Thanks for joining us today.